is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Father and Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. I thought I would start with an image of the Holy Land. Now here's the high-tech part of the night. See this little guy here? We have a pointer, a little laser pointer. But I found out this afternoon that laser pointers show everywhere but on a TV screen. So I'm sitting there pointing it up at the TV and everything, and I'm like, is this thing working? But here it works everywhere but on a TV screen. So I have this little guy here. It's the longest thing I could find. But anyway, so just to give you a flavor for where the action is happening. So here's the Sea of Galilee, way up top. And then we've got Bethlehem and Jerusalem down at the bottom, kind of right in there. And so right up here is Capernaum, and again the Sea of Galilee. And then farther up is the Caesarea Philippi. So just to give you kind of a little flavor from a map perspective, kind of where everything's happening in tonight's action. After all, it is the Hollywood gospel, right? So, hang on one second.
Welcome back to our next study on the Gospel of Mark. Here we find Jesus now in Galilee. We've seen him baptized, driven by the Spirit, tested by the devil, and now in verse 16 we see him walking on the shore of Galilee, the Sea of Galilee. So let's turn to that passage. It says in Mark chapter 1 verse 16, "And passing along by the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and Andrew, the brother of Simon," as he goes on to say, "casting a net in the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jesus said to them, 'Follow me, and I will make you become fishers of men.' And immediately they left their nets and followed him." Of course it's immediate. We expect that in Mark's Gospel now, right? "And going on a little farther, he saw James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, who were in their boat mending their nets. And immediately he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired servants and followed him." Now it's pretty dramatic. This is the first encounter that Mark narrates of Jesus encountering Andrew and Peter and James and John. And Jesus passes by them and calls them. And they drop their nets. And they leave everything and follow Jesus. Very dramatic. Now in John's Gospel, we get the idea that there was more conversation and there was hearing. In Luke chapter 5, Luke narrates how Jesus had given a sermon out of Peter's boat before Peter follows him, right? So historically, we know from both Luke and John that there's a lot more interaction. But for Mark, he wants to make it dramatic. He wants to sum it down to Jesus came, encountered them, called them, and they followed. Jesus is passing by, Mark is saying, and we have to immediately answer his summons. If you delay at responding to the call of God, you can miss Christ passing by. That, in a sense, is Mark's message. We have to be quick to the summons. But I think there's something else going on.